Good morning, Marlene here. How's everybody? I wanted to read my devotional this morning and kind of talk about it. So I'm going to start with that. Faith is living in light of what God has said, resting in what He has done, and entrusting the future in His care. Wow. Isn't that powerful? I'm reading In the Morning Mercies from Paul Tripp. If you haven't gotten this, it's really good. Every day I read something from him, and yesterday just really resonated. I did a lot of highlights, so I wanted to talk about it today. But it's a story about Abraham and Sarah. I think Sarah was like 90 something years old, and they had they prayed and prayed and waited for years and years and years for a baby, for a son. So finally, God provided the son, and his name was Isaac. So imagine after so many years and being that old, and they provided a son because God said, you're going to be the father of many. So he didn't understand how that could happen because he was so old and he didn't know, but yet he provided him a son, and Isaac was his name. Then what happens in the story is later on, I think he was in the young teens, Isaac, and God asked him to bring Isaac and sacrifice him. Usually back then they sacrificed, animals, lambs and stuff like that. But he told him to sacrifice, and he just did not understand. He goes, you promised me a son. I waited in faith, and now you want me to kill him? Whoa, God, I just don't understand. How many times do we say that? I just don't understand why you're making me go through this. I swear, like this last few weeks, I've been waiting and waiting on people. And like I said in my last video, it's just been one thing after another. I lost my phone, or somebody took it. Who knows? I had to get a new phone. I mean, everything within 2 weeks. You ever have that tumbling going? But instead of getting mad, again, I stayed faithful to God, and I just knew that I would have to be obedient and not be caught up in the circumstance and the emotions. And I knew He was going to take care of me. And so I stayed obedient in His word. And what was so cool in the story, at that very moment, remember, God's timing is perfect. At that very, very moment, he tied Isaac to this rock, and he goes, what are you doing, Dad? What are you doing, Dad? Why are you doing this to me? And he was just doing what God told him to do. And then, boom, here comes the little voice from a little lamb or goat or whatever out of the mountains, and they, basically switched, and he sacrificed the goat. But how wonderful is that? I love that because it gives me such encouragement when I stay faithful to His word, stay obedient. It is the key, to things in our lives. So by faith, I'm going to read this. By faith isn't natural for us. It is ours only as a gift of God's grace. Seek that grace again today. Seek the grace of God. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful way to remember how we need to be, and not to give up on our situations and not be caught up in our situations, because even in bad times, you stay focused. Stay focused, read, meditate, pray, journal, be around godly people, be humble, let them know, and God is going to answer you. And sometimes it's not exactly the way you think, but it's the best way. So that's my thought for today. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend. Please be safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon.